Something new. It's something old. And it's waking up. We're listening now.
My vision would turn your world upside down, tear asunder your illusions, and send the sanctuary of your own ignorance crashing down around you. Now ask yourself, are you really ready to see that vision?
What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Looking to go ahead and actually do another review on a new streaming show that's out there. It's one of those mystery drama type thrillers out there. It's for The Rig on Prime Video. So if you want to go and actually hit that review, click like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. You do it? All right, appreciate you. Well, then let's go ahead and actually get to the review. So the storyline for The Rig goes like this, is that it's the drama that will be set on the Kinloch Bravo oil rig stationed off the Scottish coast in dangerous waters of the North Sea. When the crew is due to return to the mainland, a mysterious and all-enveloping fog rolls through, and they find themselves cut off from all communication with the shore and the outside world. As the rig is hit by massive tremors, it's up to the crew of the Endeavour to discover what's driving the unknown force. But a major accident forces them to ask questions about who they can really trust. So when we look at a show like this, there's a lot to unpack. So the genre that it is, and you can kind of tell, is that it's for a drama, mystery, thriller type of deal. This is set on an oil rig, and this is kind of like it meets The Fog or The Mist. If you've ever watched any of those movies, it's very reminiscent of that, with a little bit of water unknown type of entities, kind of like The Abyss. So all of that mashed up on an oil rig, that's our premise, that's what we're going with. Now, a thriller like that with that setting that I've kind of laid out for you, it actually stirs up a lot of interesting things. It stirs up like paranoia, fear, a lot of extreme emotions that go along with being in a very confined setting. There are very few people that can really understand the working conditions or relate to the working conditions of someone who works on an oil rig, because it's very limited interaction with people. You have a very skeleton type of crew. You're isolated into a part of the world that no one else can really get to you, at least not right away. And it lends itself for a lot of downtime where you don't know, your mind can play tricks on you. So it's also a very hazardous area. It's the reason why these people get paid a lot, because you're surrounded by machinery, metal. Um, you go ahead and actually got chemicals in it. There's a lot that goes into this, and then obviously again, the whole water aspect of it. 80% of our world is made up of water, and we've only explored, I believe they've said, like less than like 5% of the water depths on Earth. So it's a very scary environment, and it's a prime setting for a series like this. And with it being like a mysterious fog, you kind of just like, okay, well, where can we go with this? Now, when you also add into the fact that there's a supernatural aspect there, and people that are ready to leave, they're amped up, ready to go on there, everything is primed for you. Now, that's a great thing for someone who is a fan of thrillers or supernatural things going on or what have you. For a casual viewer, the premise is good, but it's not good enough. Like, what's going to keep me as a casual viewer? You got to go and actually have a compelling story. Got to have good relationships for me to really care about what's going on. If you, in this particular series, I will tell you that for them to have it validate a 6 episode run for this particular series, you have to really either have a compelling story, or the characters in of themselves have to make it compelling where I'm going to stay tuned in. You don't want to have unnecessary storylines. For example, one of the things that's in here that is a storyline that I think detracts from the main storyline is the decommissioning of the oil rig. So it puts another dynamic in there that's not necessary, and it pulls away from the main topic, the main premise of the show. And I think it was an unnecessary thing. I think they interjected that in there to kind of expand and get this validated for 6 episodes. There's also another aspect on here for a casual viewer that, and this may even be with mains that may be a detractor, is that we do kind of have a little bit of the element of global warming, environmental things that are going on. And we understand with oil rigs, obviously, there is going to be people wanting to talk about that. That's going to be a component of it. But when it's brought up in a way that makes it linked to what they're doing there, possibly even to the fog, we don't know. It has a very much of a M. Night Shyamalan doing The Happening. If you remember that film and what it was trying to tell us, it has that kind of feel to it. And I believe, again, it's a detractor from what is set up as a good premise and study. Now, getting back to another aspect of what kind of makes up a good series is the acting. So let's talk about some of the positives. The positives we're looking at, what are the main casts? Are they good? Are the main protagonists, and what they have on there? There are the honest to goodness thing is that this series has more positives for the ancillary and side characters versus the mains. So, like Rashinda Sandal as Kat is very good. Uh, Richard Peeble as Dunlin, Emun Elliott as Lek, and Mark Bonner as Alwyn are very good characters. They're believable, the actions make sense, and we kind of care about them as a people. But they're not the main characters that we're supposed to focus in on. They're, like, for example, Emily Hampshire as Rose. They purposely kind of make her kind of like a no nonsense type of character. If you're going to do that, that's fine. She doesn't have to be likable, but she has to be someone that you can kind of relate to. And they make it hard to relate to her. And on top of that, they then have another aspect that they bring up to her that is not necessarily needed in that. So it just makes it a very clunky type of thing. Another character that they bring in is Owen Teal as Hutton, who is kind of like I won't say he's an antagonist because he's not meant to be an antagonist, but he's a very flat character in his aggressive nature and approach to things. And that's not really something that should be necessary for one to actually really have to deal with. So it's really weird that they even bring him in there as a flat character. And everybody else is kind of average. There's another gentleman that's in there, but it just really doesn't correlate to very good acting in there. So that's what we kind of have for that. There for main people that really like these types of supernatural thrillers or that like these types of films. There are happenings that kind of further deepen the mystery and the isolation of the crew. It makes you kind of push forward, wanting to know a little bit more. And the fact that you have a bit of balance in believing in facts and fiction and science between supernatural stuff for some of those people in there, it can be a little. It at least gives you some type of balance into not having everything being everybody kind of flying off to it's supernatural, and the other aspect of it being like science based. There's a kind of good mix in there that they try and attempt to do that for you. But for the rest of for a casual viewer, the real thing that's going to be kind of glaring is the choices of some of the characters. Like some of them just make unbelievable choices. You're kind of sitting there wondering why did they do this? How would they go doing that? It makes no sense. Some of them you're just like, okay, that there's no way that you're going to continue to do that. It's weird choices. It's nonsensical in a lot of ways, and so it kind of makes it situation where you're just like, I don't know how much I can go and actually deal with that. So, getting to the actual verdict for The Rig. For people that are into supernatural, uh, mystery, thriller type of things, I would go ahead and actually say you watch the first two episodes, see if it's for you. I'm not going to suggest the binge out because some of the storylines just might not be for you. Some of the acting might be a little off putting, what have you. But there's enough here as far as the premise and the setup that you may actually find it engaging for you. So, for people that are into those types of series, I would go ahead and actually give it a 2 episode watch. For casual streamers that are really not into that type of storyline, I would give it a 1 episode watch. And the reason being is because, again, the premise is very good and it might actually hook you. You're just going to have to decide if the acting, some of the flat characters and the side characters and the protagonists are going to be off putting to you or not. So, 1 episode will be enough for you to make that evaluation. So, again, for main viewers, for main uh, people with that, give it 2 episodes. For your casual viewers, give it 1 episode. But that's what I got for The Rig on Prime Video. If you stay for the entire review, I appreciate you. So, what I should ask you to do is click like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. You know how it goes. But no matter what, I appreciate you staying with me for this entire review. Until the next time, take care of yourself. I holla.